All right, everyone, welcome back. We're here in Legislative Services. This is our divisional workspace, and it's a little bit of a mess because we're kind of undergoing some construction. But I did want to take you through our working files. We're going to talk about deliberative control and execution. So with regard to the example provided earlier with the fees and charges bylaw, this is our working file for the fees and charges bylaw. It's not super impressive in terms of size, unlike this one regarding our development bylaws. The reason for that is that a lot of the initial work is done by the finance division, and so they hold all the working files that pertain to the bylaw. For our purposes, we have a bylaw processing checklist and a copy of the council report. We also have a few other records that are pertinent to the file in here. And then in contrast, for the development bylaws, so that's the zoning, the official community plan bylaws, we have a lot of background work that our division does. Again, a lot of the records are held by the Planning and Development Services Division. But for us, given that there's a legislative requirement to hold that public notification of the public hearing process, we actually retain all of the returned notices that are sent out via mail. And in this case, we sent out over 1,000 envelopes, and a bunch of them came back. But we keep this so that we can ever prove if we're in court that we actually did conduct the notification process, and that those envelopes were returned by Canada Post, and that we met our legislative requirement to notify. So I'll put all those aside for now, and I'll just turn to the final bylaws. So once a bylaw is adopted, there's a whole process that goes through for execution. I'll actually start with our fees and charges bylaw again. So the bylaw is printed on archival grade paper, acid free, so that it can be kept indefinitely, forever. The bylaw is signed, the dates of all the readings are entered, so read a first, second, and third time that we gave statutory notification, and then when the bylaw was adopted. It's signed by the mayor, it's signed by me as corporate officer, and has the corporate seal embossed on it. We also include, as part of the execution, a copy of the minutes excerpt that shows that council moved and seconded and adopted the bylaw. So that's all kept together for record-keeping purposes. And then moving along to the zoning bylaw, the development bylaw, we have a few different changes. So again, we have the record of the first reading, the fact that we published the notice of public hearing, when the public hearing was held, and then the second and third reading. This bylaw required approval by the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, so the date on which we obtained that approval and the date on which the bylaw was finally adopted. In this case, it was signed by the acting mayor and me as corporate officer, and again, given that seal. And so in this file, again, we have the minutes reference showing when it was actually adopted. And in addition, we have a letter from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure approving the development. So that's it for execution. Thanks, everyone.